Right now, joining us is Bellarmine outstanding basketball player Quinn Denker. Quinn just completing his senior year with the Bells, and I guess fortunately or unfortunately, you guys were able to get in all of your games. You didn't end up missing anything.
Yeah, I mean, for us especially, I would hate to be in a situation where our game would get canceled because of the virus. So although we lost, I was pretty happy with being able to play out the rest of our season, which was unfortunate for guys like at Reardon who got their games canceled due to the virus.
Yeah, absolutely. So how have you been handling all this? What have you been doing during this time?
I've been trying to just be super proactive, and although we're stuck inside the house for long, fortunate enough to have a court in my backyard and a shooting machine. So I've just been trying to get myself prepared for my next step. So just tons of shots. I have a okay weight set in my garage, just trying to get bigger and do everything I can to be a better player with this time I have.
Yeah, and talk about how you've been able to keep up with your teammates and how all of you guys have been handling this emotionally.
It's tough, especially now because a bunch of my friends are seniors and we're not going to be able to do like a lot of the things we usually would do, like our prom and our graduation. And we're not even getting the good part of school, which is getting to see each other and be around each other. So it's difficult. We're trying to keep in touch by like playing video games with each other, or FaceTiming or talking or doing whatever we can, but it's definitely difficult not being able to see them.
Yeah, how hard is it going to be for you guys? I know it's a huge deal for all high school seniors, but especially at Bellarmine, they do such a great job with their graduation and all that. And you guys are not going to be able to walk across that stage. How tough is that?
It's really tough. It's like we went through we went through Bellarmine 3 years and a really good first semester, and it was like the final stretch, and now we don't get to do it. So it almost seems like we went through all that work just to not to have a virtual graduation. So it kind of sucks.
Yeah, and you had such a great senior year. You were our Cal High Sports Player of the Year, CCS Player of the Year, but you're hoping to get recruited out of that year. So how is the recruiting process now? And you can't meet anybody face to face. So how are you able to do that?
So the recruiting situation is really tricky. I was going to play for an AAU team this like April area with a bunch of other WCAL kids, and because of the virus, our AAU season got canceled, and so we're not allowed to do anything. And so I don't get to go out to coaches for them to see me. So every type of recruiting I'm doing right now is all virtual. Me sending film, me emailing, phone calls, and it's definitely difficult. And then another wrinkle that's been thrown into this process is that the transfer portal this year for college players, there's like all-time high amount of transfer guys, like 800. So that's a lot significant, a more amount of scholarships being taken from the 2020 class than usual. So it's definitely tricky, and just trying to be proactive every day with it.
And so what are your plans right now for the fall?
My plans right now are just I'm going to keep up with my recruitment and see where everything goes. I'm talking to schools, and we're developing a relationship, and so I'm just waiting to see how everything goes. And they extended the signing period, so
Mhm.
the signing period starts actually. I think it started today, and it ends August 1st, which usually it ends in like May or July. I can't remember when it is, but they extended it pretty far out.
Yeah. So it could be that you don't know where you're going to college next year until August.
Yep.
Wow. And how do you feel about that?
It's stressful. It's
Yeah,
I wish I could know right now, but I just got to play the patient waiting game.
I think too, for us and in our show and what we're doing and plans for next year, um, you just don't know, and I guess it's that unknown that is really bothersome for everybody, just not knowing what your future is going to be. Is that the same for you?
No, 100%. It's me and my family, like almost every day. We're trying to just stay as positive we can, and we're stay faithful. But sometimes it's a little nerve wracking and scary.
Yeah, and this whole thing is kind of scary. You guys played Dublin on March 4th. So as we know now, March 4th was, the beginning of the explosion of the virus in the Bay
Mhm.
Area. And you were there playing Dublin, and your grandpa was in the stands. And of course, older people are more susceptible to this, and it hurts them a lot more than healthier people. Thinking back on that, what are your thoughts, knowing now what was going on then?
It's definitely a little scary because I know that if we'd kept playing, of course, my grandpa, he would have traveled wherever. And so it's kind of like a blessing in itself that it ended because I care about my health of my grandparents, my family and stuff. So, but I was definitely getting a little bit scared for those guys who continued to play like at O'Dowd and Mitty and those other guys, because it was getting to be a really serious problem before anyone really understood the severity of it. And so a bunch of people were going to those games. The arenas were packed with people, and people didn't understand that how fastly this virus is spreading.
Yeah. And so, when I was a teenager, we didn't go through any of this stuff. I mean, we went through other smaller things, but nothing as big as this. So as a teenager right now, how are you handling that emotionally, you and your friends, getting through this time, without getting too down about it?
I think at first it was just like a really big pill to swallow. Like I didn't really like have a gauge for anything that was going on. And I was kind of just like in shock for a little while. And then slowly I was like, wow, this is real. And me and my friends, we were just talking about it. And we had some really long conversations like through the night and stuff where
Yeah.
we were just like, what is going on? Like, how are we going to cope with this? And I think what helped us was just more talking through it, because it is difficult us not being able to see each other for a long time, or we're going to all be going away to college. A bunch of my teammates are getting recruited to go places and I don't get to be with them for that. And so we are, I think now that we're open communicating with everything as more than ever, it's really helping a lot. And I think people are starting to settle into their homes more and understand that if we just stay in our homes, it's going to help us. And our team and me and my friends are doing a lot better with that.
Yeah. And it looks like we're starting to come out of it. So hopefully that's the case. Quinn, thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. It's been interesting because people are available right now, so that's that's a good thing. Their lives aren't too busy, so we're able to catch up with you. We appreciate that. Best of luck with your college recruiting, and good luck next year. And thanks again for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.